Hi, boys and girls. Well, here we have the Acadia Files, Book 2, Autumn Science, and it's by Katie Coppens, illustrated and designed by Holly Hatan. Ooh, can't wait. I love the first volume, and this is volume 2, Autumn Science. Here are the contents. That means the chapters and things that are included in this book. We are going to read The Frog Pond together so that you can get an idea of what autumn science is like. And then there's another one I'm going to keep for a surprise because it just intrigued me. I want to read this to you. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder about what makes the universe exist. Be curious, and that is by a quote by Stephen Hawking. Having trouble with my mouth today. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Chapter 1, The Frog Pond. One afternoon, Acadia, Isabel, and Acadia's mom are walking Baxter on the forest trail. It's a peaceful fall walk until Baxter's favorite adversary, a bird, swoops down and flies up towards the trees. Baxter pulls so hard when he sees the bird that his leash comes loose from Acadia's hand. "Baxter, stop!" Acadia yells. Baxter soon loses track of the bird, but he keeps running anyway because he smells his second favorite thing, water. Acadia, Isabel, and Acadia's mom chase him through the mix of maple, birch, and oak trees. And when they finally catch up, Baxter is neck-deep in a mucky green pond filled with cattails and lily pads. Acadia's mom claps her hands and yells, "Baxter, come here!" Standing at the edge of the pond, Acadia hollers, "You silly dog, get over here!" But Baxter's very happy in the water and he doesn't seem to hear them. As Acadia watches Baxter swim away from shore, she notices a frog hopping in the tall grass that fringes the pond. "I think it'll be a while before Baxter swims back," she says. "Isabel, do you want to help me catch that frog?" Acadia's mom sits down on the shore and starts to take her shoes off. "Hold on, girls. We don't have a net." "I don't need a net," Isabel says. "I can catch a frog with my hands." "I'm sure you can," Acadia's mom answers, rolling up her pant legs, "but you still need a net." "Why?" Acadia asks. "Because you shouldn't touch frogs with your bare hands." Isabel looks down at her hands. "Why not?" "Because frogs can breathe through their skin. We rubbed ourselves with insect repellent before we left, and the chemicals on your hands could get into the frog." Acadia says, "That's crazy. Wait, we don't breathe through our skin, right?" "No," Isabel answers, smiling. "Air goes in our mouths or noses to—" "Our lungs," Acadia nods. "I knew that. So frogs don't have lungs." Acadia's mom steps into the mucky water. "Frogs have lungs and breathe in through their nostrils, but they can also take in dissolved oxygen through their skin." "That's so weird." Acadia looks down at her arm. "Imagine if we breathed in through our skin. Wait, why do we even need air?" Acadia's mom steps knee-deep into the water and whistles to Baxter. She answers over her shoulder. "Oxygen travels from your lungs to your blood." "Why exactly?" Acadia asks. Acadia can see the science teacher in her mom excited to talk about this, but she can also tell that her mom is focused on getting Baxter back to shore. Acadia's mom walks back towards the girls. "Do we need to talk about this right now?" The girls nod to confirm that, yes, they do need to talk about this now. "Okay, you both know I love it when you're curious. Your arteries deliver blood from your heart to your body. Blood transports oxygen from your lungs to your cells." "What are cells?" Acadia asks. "They are often called the building blocks of life. You have trillions of cells in your body that carry out functions. All living things have cells." Acadia points to the water. So, those lily pads have cells? Her mom nods. Does water have cells? Acadia looks at the pond and thinks about water falling from the sky as rain or coming from the faucet. Wait, water doesn't have cells because it isn't alive, but it has living things in it like algae and Baxter. Acadia's mom looks back at the water. Yes, like Baxter. Okay, girls, let's do this together. Yell, Baxter, come on. The count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Baxter, come. Baxter finally obeys and approaches the muddy shore, wagging his tail. Acadia grabs Baxter's soaked leash and squirms as Baxter shakes his muddy yellow fur. Acadia squeals, Baxter, gross! Isabel, Acadia, and Acadia's mom drip with green, mucky water. Looking at the algae on her arms, Isabel says, Now I'm really glad that I don't breathe through my skin. Me too, Acadia laughs, wiping mud from her cheek. And when Acadia looks again at the pond, she notices bottles floating in the water and a plastic bag caught in the cattails. This is a pond she visits often to see brightly colored dragonflies and hear frogs croaking. She likes to listen to the frogs and imagine what they are talking about. But today all she hears is the wind rustling the leaves of a nearby tree. Looking more closely at the water, she sees trash stuck among the cattails. If frogs breathe through their skin, is pollution extra bad for frogs? It is, Acadia's mom answers. Can frogs die if there's too much pollution? Acadia asks. Frogs are vulnerable because they take in toxins through their skin and lay their eggs in water. Because they live in water and on land, scientists study frogs to learn how healthy an ecosystem is. When frogs are healthy, it's an indicator that the air and the water are clean. If a frog population is declining, it can mean that their habitat is polluted. I think that's what's happening here, Acadia says. I've only seen one frog today, and there used to be so many here. Isabel adds, You're right. There are way fewer frogs than there used to be. I know I can't touch the frogs, but I can pick up the trash. Acadia reaches for a plastic bag that's caught on the cattail and starts to fill it with trash. Can we come back with a big trash bag and pick up all the litter? Absolutely, Acadia's mom says. How do you think all this trash got here? Isabel asks. Acadia's mom answers, Well, it starts with one person leaving a bottle, and then someone else does it, and before you know, the pond looks like this. I think if they had a trash can somewhere on the trail or next to the pond, that would help, Acadia says. I think so too, Isabel says. Acadia asks, How can we make that happen? Do you think I could write a letter to the town and tell them about all this trash? We could take pictures of what it looks like and write about what's happening to the frogs. I bet they have no idea that frogs can breathe through their skin and what happens to them when the water is polluted. Do you think they'd listen? Acadia's mom smiles. I think they might, and if they don't, then we'll just keep saying it until they do, Acadia answers, and she picks up a crushed can off the ground. Baxter barks sharply and pulls back toward the pond. For now, I think the frogs and birds will be happier when we get Baxter out of here, Acadia's mom says. Me too, Acadia agrees. She holds the bag of trash in her hand as they head towards the trail. She looks back at the pond, determined to help save it and the frogs that live in it. Okay, so Acadia, Isabel, and Acadia's mom returned to Reris Pond 2 times to collect litter and take photos, and Acadia uses this information to write a letter to the town council. And here's the letter. Dear Town Council, I'm writing to request that a trash can be placed at Reris Pond. A few weeks ago, I went on a walk there with my mom and a friend, and we were horrified by all the litter. I've gone 2 times since then, and every time there has been trash. We found everything from potato chip bags to a chair in the water. Yes, a chair. I'm including photos of what the pond looked like before and after we cleaned up the litter." And she just goes on to explain her letter, and she says, "Thank you for your time and consideration," and she leaves her name and her age, 10 years old, resident. So I wanted to point all this out, that this is the data that they got from their visits to the pond. And so this is visit number 1. There were 6 plastic bottles, 4 plastic bags, 4 gum wrappers, 3 bottle caps, 3 aluminum cans, 2 clear iced coffee cups with straws, 1 glass bottle, 1 plastic fork, 1 granola bar wrapper, and 1 sandwich bag. On the second visit, after I guess they had picked up a lot of that stuff, 2 plastic bottles, 2 small potato chip bags, 1 little toy car, and 1 aluminum can, and she thinks the little toy car was left by mistake. And on visit 3, there were 2 styrofoam cups, 1 plastic bag, 1 straw, 1 plastic bottle, and 1 chair. Yep. So there's the chair. You can see it there. Not funny. This is before the cleanup, and this is after the cleanup. Wow. Wonder how the chair got there. Don't know. Frogs are so cool. This is oxygen in, and this is oxygen in, and it goes to his lungs. So here's the frog cycle of life. So this is an adult frog, and it lays eggs, and they hatch and become tadpoles. And this is a tadpole with legs. It turns into a young frog or a froglet. And then it grows up to be an adult frog, which lays eggs, and on and on. You can see that's the cycle of the frog life. It goes round and round. And these are some new science words: environmental indicator, abiotic factors, biotic factors, organism, and cells. And it has the definition of each one. I'm doing all this for you so you can see that this book really lays out everything for a project that you might want to do that's similar or the same kind of project. And I'm sure it would be met with open arms. And after the project, things I still wonder about. If people see litter already on the ground, are they more likely to litter? For some reason, do they think it's okay because other people did it first? Well, that's a good question. You could actually maybe go around asking kids that and what they think about that. Have a little poll of your own. What would happen to all of this trash at Riris Pond if no one ever picked it up? What happens to a habitat when there is really, really bad pollution? Well, I'm sure I don't know. Pardon me. Got a little frog in my throat. Just talking about frogs. Okay, the next one I'd like to read for you. This one just really intrigued me. It's called Drinking Dinosaur Pee. It's not what you think. Acadia loves jumping in piles of colorful leaves and dressing up for Halloween, but her absolute favorite thing to do in autumn is playing soccer. Soccer is especially fun this year because Acadia and Isabel are on the same team. They've started a new tradition of having a sleepover the night before a Saturday morning game. "Acadia, make sure you pack your shin guards," Acadia Mom said, "and your raincoat," Acadia's dad mutters as he chops oranges for Acadia's soccer team to snack on during the game. "I hate rain. I bet half our team won't even show up," Acadia mutters. "They'll show up. This is the playoffs," Isabel says. Just as Acadia's dad cuts the final orange, the phone rings. "Hello," Acadia's mom answers. "Flooded? Oh, no. Isabel's here, too. I'll let her parents know." "Okay, thanks for calling." "Please tell me that wasn't what I think it was," Acadia says when her mom hangs up the phone. "I'm afraid so. That was your coach calling to say that the field is too wet for your game. It's been canceled. Sorry, girls." No, I was finally supposed to start today, Acadia groans. I'm sure you'll get to start the next game, Isabel offers. Well, what are we going to do now? Rain makes everything so boring. Acadia's mom sits behind them at the kitchen table. You can watch a movie, or... Is there anything we can do outside? Acadia asks. You have extra rain boots. Why don't you go splosh in the puddles? My feet are really big. There's no way I can fit into Acadia's boots, Isabel answers. Well, you can wear mine if you'd like. They're right over there. Acadia Moms points to her mudroom off the kitchen. Why is it raining so much? It's been raining for 2 days, Acadia says. You want to know something cool about rain? Acadia's mom asks. Wouldn't that be snow? Acadia's dad interrupts with a big smile. Sorry, that's a poor attempt at science humor. Why is that funny, Dad? Your mom said, want to know something cool about rain. If it's cold enough, rain becomes snow. Get it? I get it, but why is that funny? Acadia teases. Anyway, Acadia's mom continues, a cool fact about rain is that it's possible that the rain that's falling right now is the same water that the dinosaurs drank. Is that another joke? Isabel asks. Your family has a strange sense of humor. Acadia smiles at Isabel. No, it's true, Acadia's mom says. But dinosaurs lived a long, long time ago. Hasn't all that water disappeared? Acadia asks. Water doesn't just disappear, Acadia's dad says, as he flashes his hands like a magician. I think she means, hasn't all that water evaporated, Isabel offers. Yes, water does evaporate, but then it comes back down, Acadia's mom says. Acadia's dad waves his hand. It's magic. Except it's not really magic. It's the water cycle. The water on our planet has been here long before the dinosaurs and will be here far longer than us. Acadia's mom reaches for a pot. Let's put some water in this pot, and I'll show you. She adds an inch of water from the faucet and places the pot on the stove with the heat turned on high. The water in the pot could have been anywhere. At one time, it could have been inside a dinosaur, or in a tropical ocean, or frozen in a glacier, or flowing down the Nile River. It could have been in Baxter's water bowl, or it could have been... Toilet water? Acadia asks. That's so gross. We drink toilet water? Isabel asks. Hear me out. The water on our planet, in whatever form it comes in, recycles itself. A cycle is like a circle. It keeps going and going and going. What does that have to do with dinosaur water? Acadia asks. What happens when the water in the pot starts boiling? It bubbles, Acadia answers. And does it all stay in the pot? Isabel jumps in. No, the water starts to evaporate. Acadia's mom smiles. Exactly. The same is true of the water on our planet. But how? The ocean's not boiling, Acadia points out. Ocean water still evaporates. In fact, the majority of Earth's water is ocean water. So, Acadia furrows her eyebrows. So that means the majority of Earth's evaporated water is from the ocean? Yes, I'm boiling this water to speed up the process because the warmer the water, the faster it evaporates. But even cold water evaporates. Think about it. If you leave a cup of water outside, eventually that water will disappear. And where did it go? It didn't really disappear. It evaporated. I get it, Isabel says. Water in a cup that's outside would evaporate faster in the summer than in the fall because it's hotter in the summer. Exactly. The water that evaporates becomes water vapor, which is the gas phase of water. Look, see the steam coming off the pot? It's like a cloud. Eventually, the vapor builds up in clouds, and then it comes back down. As rain or snow, Isabel adds. Yes, then the water droplets will land somewhere, probably in an ocean, or a lake or into the grass, and eventually it evaporates back to the sky. Then it happens again, Isabel asks, and again. Exactly. And the cycle keeps going on and on. So the same water that the dinosaurs drank could be in these oranges. Acadia points to the plate of sliced oranges. Yes, that water would have countless journeys through the water cycle between then and now. Those water droplets could have ended up where oranges grow. Acadia reaches for an orange and takes a bite. But now I'm eating it, so isn't the cycle done? Acadia's dad says with a quizzical look, can you think about where the liquid from the orange you just ate will go next? Into me, Acadia answers as she chews. And then, Isabel giggles. Oh, I get it. Gross. Acadia's mom adds, but that's not the only way out for the water you take in. Some is breathed out. Isabel adds, like how you can see your breath in the winter. That's because of water vapor. Yes, exactly. And some comes out as sweat, but most of it is absorbed into your body to help it function. But you're right, Acadia. Some of it does end up in the toilet. Then where does the toilet water go? Acadia asks. Her mom answers, after you flush, the water is treated. Then it will eventually evaporate again. So wait, the rain that's flooding the soccer field could be the same water that was in our toilet, Acadia asks. Or it could have once been a professional soccer player's sweat, Isabel interrupts. Isn't that so cool? I guess that's kind of cool, Acadia says. Do you want to go play outside? Isabel asks. There you go. Celebrate this rainy day, Acadia's mom says with a smile. Instead of calling it a rainy day, I think we should call it a dinosaur pee day, Acadia says. I get it, because the rain could have been, Isabel giggles as she puts her rain boots on, or we could call it armpit sweat day, or sewer shower day, or, okay, I think you two understand the water cycle now. I'm going to use this water for tea. Enjoy your time outside. Enjoy your dinosaur PT, Acadia says with a smile as she and Isabel run outside giggling. After Acadia and Isabel come inside, Acadia's mom shows them how they can create their own water cycle model using water, food coloring, and a plastic bag that zips closed. Acadia makes a model, then comes up with an idea for how she can use it in an experiment. Okay, and this is the experiment. So I'm just going to do the question. My question, will evaporation happen faster in a sunny area or a shady area? And they're going to do some research. It turns out that the sun's heat is a key part of the water cycle. The sun's heat is essential for evaporation. So the hypothesis is that if I put one plastic bag model of water cycle in a sunny window and another one in a shady window, then evaporation will happen quicker in the sunny window because there is more heat. So here we go. Water cycle model in a sunny window, water cycle model in a shady window. Conclusion. There wasn't a big difference between the two models. In fact, the one that is in the shadier spot actually showed water evaporation and clinging to the sides first. I think this is because we had our wood stove going and it's in the same room as this model. So on and on, this book explains everything that you can do with this experiment. And the actual water cycle and new science words, water cycle, transpiration, evaporation, condensation, precipitation. Wow. And it has explanations and definitions of all of them. And things I still wonder about. How did water first get on Earth? How do clouds form? Why are there different shapes? And how many water molecules are there in a cup, or a pool, a lake, the oceans, the earth? And there are many, many more chapters in the contents of this Acadia Files, Book 2, Autumn Science, by Katie Coppens, and illustrated and designed by Holly Hatan. I love these books. They're well worth purchasing if you're homeschooling or you want to do extra projects for elementary or junior high or high school science classes, or you just want to have fun with ideas of what to do outside, like when it's raining. So, until we read together again next time, boys and girls, bye-bye.